Hello, dear reader. Welcome to an enchanting journey filled with magic, mystery, and unforgettable friendships. In the heart of an ancient forest, a world exists where animals speak just as we do, living together in harmony. But something strange is happening. The trees are losing their leaves, the rivers are drying up, and a sense of unease spreads among the creatures who call this forest home. You are about to follow a brave group of animals, each with their own unique skills and hearts full of courage, on an adventure that will take them to the very heart of their magical world. Along the way, they will face wild challenges, uncover ancient secrets, and learn that the true power of friendship and teamwork can save their home from a dark force that threatens everything they hold dear. So, grab a seat, take a deep breath, and join Max the rabbit, Luna the owl, Rex the lion, Penny the squirrel, and Whisper the fox, as they embark on the adventure of a lifetime. Let's begin the journey, shall we? Chapter 1. The mysterious dark stone. Max the rabbit loved the forest like no other place on earth. Every morning, he hopped out of his cozy burrow, his fur twitching with excitement as the sun's first rays broke through the tall trees. The world was full of wonders, and Max was sure there was an adventure waiting for him just around the next corner. The forest, with its shimmering leaves and singing streams, was more than just a home. It was a world of endless possibilities. But lately, something had felt off. It wasn't something Max could explain, not with his usual clarity or confidence. The forest, though still beautiful, had begun to feel strangely quiet. The usual hum of life, the rustle of leaves in the breeze, the chatter of birds overhead, the scurrying of squirrels, had grown faint. And the trees seemed to be shedding their leaves far too early. Max had never seen the trees lose their green coats so fast, and it made his heart race with worry. Something's wrong, Max muttered to himself, his large ears flicking nervously. He was standing near the edge of the forest, where the trees grew dense and wild, their shadows stretching long into the morning mist. He could sense it. The air smelled different, like rain about to fall, but it wasn't just the usual smell of rain. It was heavier, colder, as though something ancient and forgotten was stirring beneath the ground. Max hopped quickly through the underbrush, eager to find someone who could explain what was happening. As he reached the clearing, he spotted Luna the owl perched on a branch high above. Luna was older than Max, wise beyond measure, and with feathers as silvery as moonlight. She watched the world with a calm that always seemed to steady Max's restless energy. If anyone could help him make sense of the strange things happening in the forest, it was Luna. "Luna!" Max called, his voice full of urgency. "Luna, we need to talk." Luna turned her head with a slow, deliberate motion, her golden eyes glowing softly. "What's troubling you, Max?" she asked, her voice a gentle breeze, soft yet filled with authority. "I don't know exactly," Max replied, his words tumbling out quickly. "The forest feels wrong. Something's happening to the trees, and I'm not the only one who's noticed it. Have you seen how quickly the leaves are falling? And the animals? They're not acting like they usually do." Luna's feathers rustled as she considered his words. "Yes, I've sensed it too," she said softly. "The balance of the forest is shifting. It's subtle, but there's a darkness creeping in." Max's ears twitched. "What do you mean, darkness?" Luna lowered her head slightly, her expression serious. "There's an ancient power that lies deep in the forest. It's tied to the life of the land itself. If that power is disturbed, the entire forest could begin to wither away. But it's not just the forest that's in danger. It's everything that depends on it, including us. Max swallowed hard, feeling a chill run down his spine. Is there anything we can do? Luna didn't immediately answer. Instead, she looked out over the forest, her keen eyes searching the distant trees as if trying to glimpse some hidden truth. Finally, she spoke. "We must investigate," she said. "The source of this disturbance is deep within the forest, far from the safety of our homes. But I fear we may not be the only ones who have sensed this power." Max's heart pounded in his chest. "What are you saying? You think someone, or something, might be behind it?" Luna nodded slowly. "I fear we may be facing a force older than any of us, Max. But we cannot sit idly by and wait for it to destroy our home." Max's mind raced. He had always dreamed of adventure, of discovering something great and meaningful. But this was different. It wasn't a game. It wasn't a treasure hunt. This was real, and it was dangerous. "Then we need to do something about it," Max said, his voice filled with determination. "I'm in, Luna. What do we do next?" Luna smiled faintly, her wisdom and experience evident in the way she spoke. "First, we need to gather the others. This will be no easy task, Max. It will take all of us working together." Max's ears perked up. "The others? You mean Rex and Penny?" "Yes, and others too," Luna replied. "We will need every ally we can find. The path ahead will be treacherous, and we will need strength, wit, and courage." "Then let's not waste any time," Max said, already bouncing on his paws. "I'm ready for whatever comes next." Luna spread her wings and flew gracefully down to Max's side. "Let's start by finding Rex. He will know what to do." Together, they set off through the forest, their hearts full of purpose. Little did they know, the adventure that awaited them would test their friendship, bravery, and the very heart of the forest itself. As the sunlight flickered through the trees, Max couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something much bigger than he had ever imagined. Something that would change their world forever. Chapter 2. The gathering of allies. Max couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and anxiety as he hopped alongside Luna through the forest. With each step, the feeling of unease grew stronger. The trees that once seemed so alive now appeared fragile, their leaves pale and brittle. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. "Do you think Rex will agree to help?" Max asked, his voice laced with concern. He'd known Rex the lion for years, and while Rex was strong and brave, he wasn't exactly the kind to rush head first into trouble. He was known for his caution, his measured decisions, qualities that had made him a respected figure in the forest. Luna's wings rustled as she flew slightly ahead, her sharp eyes scanning the path. "Rex is loyal to the forest, Max. If anyone can lead us through the dangers ahead, it will be him. But we'll need to approach him carefully. He's likely already noticed the changes, and he will have questions. We need to be prepared for that." Max nodded, feeling the weight of the responsibility settling on his shoulders. It was one thing to be swept up in the excitement of an adventure, but another to know that the fate of the entire forest might depend on his actions. He had never wanted to be the hero. He'd always been content with his quiet life. But now, the forest needed him. After a few more moments of walking in silence, the two reached a large, open meadow where Rex was known to spend his mornings. The meadow was bathed in sunlight, the tall grasses swaying gently in the breeze. Rex was there, just as Luna had predicted, his golden mane shimmering in the light. His massive form stood tall and regal, even as he seemed lost in thought, staring out across the field. Max approached cautiously, his voice breaking the silence. "Rex!" The lion turned, his eyes narrowing as he saw Max and Luna. "Ah, Max, Luna." His deep, rumbling voice was calm, but there was a tension in it that Max hadn't heard before. "I've been waiting for you too. I sense that something is wrong. The forest, it's not the same anymore." Max felt a chill at Rex's words. It seemed that the changes were affecting everyone, not just the smaller animals like him. "That's why we're here," Luna said, her voice steady as always. "We need your help, Rex. The forest is in danger. Something is happening deep within the woods, something dark. We believe it's tied to an ancient power that could destroy everything if it isn't stopped." Rex's gaze turned serious, and he took a slow step toward them, his heavy paws making barely a sound on the soft grass. "I have felt the change. The trees are weakening, the rivers are drying, and I fear we may be facing something much older and more dangerous than any of us can handle alone." Max felt his heart race. It was exactly what Luna had said. The forest's magic was fading, and something dark was stirring. "So, you'll help us?" Max asked eagerly. Rex's piercing gaze shifted between the two of them. "I will help," he said, his voice full of resolve. "But we will need more than just strength to face whatever is coming. We'll need to move quickly and carefully. There are things lurking in the forest that we may not be prepared for." Max nodded, his stomach flipping with excitement. "Then we're ready. Where do we start?" "We need to find Penny," Rex replied. "She's small, but her cleverness is unmatched. We'll need her resourcefulness on this journey." Penny. Max had heard stories about the little squirrel, known for her quick thinking and sharp mind. Though small in size, Penny was as tough as any of the larger animals in the forest. Her ability to navigate the forest's densest areas, solve riddles, and think on her feet made her an invaluable ally. As the trio set off toward Penny's home, the air seemed to grow thicker with anticipation. The quiet hum of the forest felt like it was holding its breath, as if the entire world was waiting to see what they would do next. They reached the edge of the forest, where the trees grew sparse and the ground was littered with fallen acorns and leaves. Max's eyes scanned the area, spotting small movement in the branches overhead. Suddenly, a swift figure darted from one tree to another, a flash of fur and energy. "Penny!" Luna called out, her voice filled with warmth. The small squirrel paused mid-leap, her bushy tail flicking with excitement. "Luna, Max, and Rex." She landed gracefully on a nearby branch, then hopped down to greet them. "You guys are the last creatures I expected to see today. What's going on?" "We need your help," Rex said, his voice low but firm. "Something is wrong with the forest, and we believe it's connected to an ancient power. We need to find the source and stop it before it destroys everything we know." Penny's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Ancient power, huh? Sounds like an adventure I can get behind." She paused for a moment, her small face turning serious. "But I'll need to know more. The forest's been strange lately, but if there's something magical going on, I can help. You know I'm great at getting into places no one else can." Max felt a surge of hope. "We need to get to the heart of the forest, Penny. We don't know what we're up against, but Luna and Rex think it's something dangerous." Penny's whiskers twitched, and she gave a small nod. "Then it's settled. We'll need to gather supplies, some food, some tools. I'll lead the way. You'll want to be fast, though. The deeper we go, the more unpredictable things get." With Penny on board, the group felt more complete. As the 4 animals prepared to set off, the weight of their task began to settle on their shoulders. Max felt the flutter of nervous excitement in his chest, but there was no turning back now. The forest needed them, and they were the only ones who could save it. Rex led the way with his confident strides. Luna flew high above, keeping watch, and Penny zipped around, gathering what they would need for the journey ahead. Max stayed close to Luna, feeling both small and proud to be part of something much larger than himself. The deeper they traveled, the more the forest seemed to change. The once vibrant greens of the trees were now dull and faded, and the scent of the air grew colder. Max's heart began to race again, but he pushed the fear aside. They had a job to do, and he was ready for whatever came next. Chapter 3. Into the heart of the forest, the sun was beginning its slow descent behind the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest floor as Max, Luna, Rex, and Penny ventured deeper into the woods. The trees grew taller and more twisted, their gnarled roots jutting out from the earth like the hands of forgotten giants. The air was heavy, thick with an unfamiliar stillness, and the once vibrant calls of the forest creatures had almost entirely stopped. Max's heart raced with every step, his ears twitching nervously at the eerie silence. Penny scurried ahead, darting between tree trunks and hopping effortlessly from one branch to another, her sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. Rex followed closely behind, his massive frame moving silently through the underbrush. Despite his size, he was as stealthy as a shadow, always alert to any possible danger. Luna soared gracefully above them, her wings cutting through the dense air as she kept watch over the group. Max stayed close to Luna, his mind racing with questions. What could this ancient force be? Why had the forest suddenly started to wither? And what had they gotten themselves into? The deeper they traveled, the more the forest seemed to change. The leaves of the trees had become brittle, like dry parchment, crumbling under the slightest touch. The once flowing streams were now little more than trickles of stagnant water, their surfaces covered with an oily film. Even the flowers, which had once dotted the forest floor in bursts of color, were now wilted, their petals darkened and shriveled. "It's as if the very life of the forest is being drained," Luna said softly, her voice carrying the weight of experience. "We are heading toward the heart of the forest, the source of its power. But something is interfering with that power, something dark. It's spreading like a sickness." Rex's deep voice rumbled in agreement. "I've heard of this before," he said, his eyes narrowing as he surveyed their surroundings. "Ancient forces that feed off the energy of the land. If the heart of the forest is corrupted, everything we know will die." Max's ears flattened at the thought. "We have to stop it, don't we? Whatever it is, we need to find it before it's too late." Penny paused for a moment, perched on a low-hanging branch above them. "We will, but we need to be careful. There's something ahead that doesn't feel right." Her voice was tense, her usual energy replaced with caution. Max felt his stomach tighten. The air had grown colder, and a thick mist was creeping through the trees, curling around their legs like a living thing. The deeper they went, the harder it was to see. It was as though the forest itself was trying to obscure their path. "Keep your wits about you," Luna warned, her eyes sharp. "The heart of the forest lies beyond this mist, but we may not be alone." Max's heart pounded faster. "What do you mean? What's out there?" Luna's voice grew lower, more serious. "Darkness is not only a force of nature, it can take shape. The heart is protected by creatures of shadow, beasts that once roamed freely in the deep parts of the forest. But now they are twisted, controlled by whatever force threatens the land." Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the mist, sending a shiver down Max's spine. Rex stopped in his tracks, his eyes scanning the misty shadows. "It's starting," he muttered under his breath, his muscles tensing in preparation. "Stay close." Max didn't need to be told. Twice. He pressed closer to Luna, his ears straining to catch any sound. The growl came again, this time much closer. Penny was already crouched low on the ground, her body tense, her eyes darting from one direction to the next. Out of the mist, a pair of glowing eyes appeared. Then another. Then another. Soon, the shapes of dark, hulking figures began to emerge from the fog, their eyes glimmering with malice. These were no ordinary creatures. They were twisted versions of animals Max had never seen before. Their fur was matted and sickly, their claws elongated and sharp. Their bodies seemed to ripple with dark energy, as if they were more shadow than substance. Max's breath caught in his throat. "What are they?" Luna's voice was steady, but there was an undeniable edge to it. "Beasts of the shadow realm. They were once protectors of the heart, but now they've been corrupted. We'll have to fight our way through." Before Max could respond, one of the shadow creatures lunged toward them with terrifying speed. Its claws slashed through the air, narrowly missing Penny, who darted out of the way with lightning-fast reflexes. "Run!" Luna shouted. "We need to get to the heart now." The group scattered, each member moving with a purpose. Rex, despite his size, was quick to respond. He charged at one of the shadow beasts, his powerful limbs striking with all the force of a thunderstorm. His roar shook the air, and the shadow creature staggered back, momentarily stunned. Penny dashed through the trees, her small form darting between obstacles with remarkable agility. She leaped onto a nearby boulder, grabbing a stick and hurling it at one of the beasts, distracting it long enough for Rex to land a powerful blow. Max's heart raced as he followed Luna through the mist, the sound of the battle ringing in his ears. He could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him, but even with the chaos around them, there was something strangely comforting about Luna's presence. Her wings, wide and graceful, sliced through the mist, guiding them forward. "We're almost there," Luna called out, her voice cutting through the fog. "Keep moving, Max. The heart is close." Max pushed himself harder, his muscles burning with the effort. He could see it now, a faint, shimmering light in the distance. The heart of the forest. The source. of all life in this place. And now, it was in grave danger. Another growl sounded behind him, and Max didn't have to look back to know that the shadow creatures were closing in. But he couldn't stop now. They had to reach the heart. As they neared the shimmering light, Max felt a sudden surge of energy, a warmth that spread through his body like sunlight. He didn't know what it was, but it was like the forest itself was reacting to their presence, pushing back against the dark force that threatened it. They reached the clearing at last, and before them stood a massive stone structure, ancient and covered in moss. The heart of the forest. It was a towering stone monument, glowing with an ethereal light that pulsed with life. But the closer they got, the more Max could feel it. Something was wrong. The energy that radiated from the heart felt off, dark. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the clearing, a voice that was both familiar and terrifying. "You should not have come here." From the shadows, a figure emerged, tall and cloaked in darkness. Its eyes gleamed with an unnatural light, and as it stepped into the clearing, the very air seemed to grow heavier. It was the source of the corruption. Max's blood ran cold. "Who are you?" The figure smiled, its voice cold as ice. "I am the one who will claim this forest as my own. And you are too late."